Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is another raid Shadow Legends video. Guys, it's happened. VISIX the unbowed. VISIX the free champion. VISIX the void legendary. Got a buff. Damn, she needed a buff. I did a video on her, I don't know, a few months ago. Tried to push her to her limits. And her limits were left wanting. So, what have they done? They've changed some of her skills up. Let's have a quick go through them. And then we can try out what she's like now. I will be doing a video as well on Golem, who I know a lot of people had from the old Battle Pass. I've got 4. All he does is chills out in my vault, chatting to some of the other Vault Lords, sometimes chatting with himself, because I do have 4 of this fella. So I'm going to be testing him as well, see if he's got anything going on as well. And probably do a video on him maybe tomorrow. So what's going on then? VISIX the unbowed. A1, double hitter. Each hit now, if booked, 100% chance to drop turn meter by 15%. If we're talking old world bosses up to level 20, it's not too bad. If we're talking new world bosses 21 to 25 or Doom Tower, this is actually a 7.5% decrease each hit. It's not terrible. I feel like it could be a bit better. You do get a turn meter fill at the same time though. So fills this turn meter. This champion's turn meter equal to the amount the target loses. So when the new bosses cut your turn meter drop by half, she cuts her turn meter gain by half as well, which is actually a bit rubbish. It's a bit brutal, but it is what it is. I still feel like they can push this more. She's a void legendary. She's coming in at the same level as our uncommon hero. Could be more, but it's better than it was. A2, AoE ability. 100% if booked, chance of placing decreased speed, like that. Also get an ally protection buff from this skill now. So she drops their speed, she ally protects your team. So this feels like it's better, it's more utility in it. They've changed it up a bit. They've thrown the shield now in this part. I do feel like they should have just done ally protection and shield together, and then provoke and decrease speed together. But they've done what they've done. We'll see how it runs. At least these 2 abilities now both are hits. So we've got 2 ways of doing AoE damage. And we've now got a provoke AoE ability instead of a single target. Funny enough, it's still called single combat. What does single combat do? Attacks all enemies. Oh, man. Places a shield buff on this champion equal to 20% of their max HP for 2 turns. A full AoE provoke is better, and 3-turn cooldown on this, 3-turn cooldown on this. Does mean that you're going to cycle back around them pretty quick. You're actually not going to be A1-ing that often. We've also got defense in Faction Crypt's Aura. I feel like they could have just made this all battles. Make this all battles. She still would no way be overpowered, but she does feel like she's now viable. So first thing we do, I've got her in damage, masteries. I've got her in Savage. Yeah, you know the rules by now, guys. I've got her in a terrible build, actually, but I just want to see if her A2 and her A3 hit hard. That's it. Okay, this sounds stupid to say out loud, but I'm going to say it anyway. How do you buff a defense-based champion's damage? You don't bring in an Arbiter with an increased attack. It would literally do nothing. You bring someone who's got increased defense. You want to bump someone's defense-based damage up? You bring someone in who increases your defense. I know it sounds simple, but some people just don't get it. So we're going to drop defense and weaken the enemy. This is our normal setup, just to test out damage. We're going to put poison on ourselves from Bad L, 20% more damage. We're going to go Derp Touch, another 20%. We're going to increase our own defense. Bam. And then we're going to start off here with her A2 ability. So A2, let's just slow this down. What's she got? I mean, this is kind of like the best case scenario. But that was not bad, actually. That was, what, 120 to 200k? Okay, so let's go in and try out the A2 this time. So A1, pretty decent smack, actually. Pretty decent for a defense-based champion. You know, it's nice to get options with damage. It also just allows you to realize, should I build any damage on in a kit at all? Or do we just need to land stuff? So with the A3 then, let's see what we've got here. A3... Oh, and that's a convincing smack. That's a convincing smack right there. Let's just see what happens if we don't have all of the debuffs up for our A2. So if we're not doing all of the relative damage boost, no decreased defense and everything. Still a 30 to 40k hit. And she cycles back around these pretty quick. So in terms of damage, viability, feels pretty good. Other thing to bear in mind is she has got now 2 AoE abilities, both of them on a quick cooldown, a quick rotation. So all of a sudden, a bit like what we do with Scyl, you could throw her in stun gear, daze gear, taunt gear, anything that's controlling really, and she will attack a lot of enemies and have a lot of chance to lay more control. So I particularly think taunt gear would be good on her to go alongside her taunt, but obviously stuns and what have you, super good as well. Also, because she's throwing out provokes, frost gear would not be terrible on her. As she takes a hit, they get frozen, etc. So there's actually way more viability now for her builds compared to what she was. Way more. Okay, so I'm going to change a build up to be a bit more realistic for most people, and then let's actually test her in some general content. So in terms of the build we've gone into here then, so I've gone for regen gear because she's going to take a lot of damage. I think lifesteal or regen or that new set bloodlust would be good just to top herself up. If you imagine she's tanking up damage through ally protection on her A2, she's provoking on her A3. She's never really letting up on the damage that's coming into her. If you compare it to somebody like a Miscreated Monster, so Miscreated Monster does an ally protect, but before he does his ally protect, he tops his health up, he puts continuous heal on himself, and then his other ability throws out a shield and stuns. So the difference here is Miscreated Monster is stopping the enemies coming at him completely, shielding himself, and then he's protecting the enemies with another ability, so he can tank that damage. Whereas with VISIX, she's kind of doing similar skills, but all of them really just lead to her losing damage, bleeding damage. So it's just something to be aware of. I like regen, I like lifesteal, and I said bloodlust. You want to get your speed up, you want to get your HP up to a decent level so that your shield means something, accuracy enough to land your debuffs. I've kept some crit and crit damage in here just because I think she can do some work for you, but that's really the higher level part of the build. If I was going pure like earlier game build, or when I just get her and I'm not somebody pays to play the game at all, I'd be wanting to get my accuracy to the right place, decent speed, then decent defensive stats, HP and defense. And then the last thing I would do is start thinking about, can I get my crit rate up and crit damage up? So I've tried to do all of the things in this build just so I think it'd be more fun for you to see. But, and you probably also, like on Masteries, you come away from this kind of damage build and you'd be looking at things which are going to help you sustain. So you might even go War Master, but honestly, War Master will be your damage build. If you want to continue in this kind of, we're tanking damage away from other people, because you're going to build a tanky anyway, Bulwark could be good, and something like Cycle of Revenge could be good, and Selfless Defender could be good as well. So you can make it so that she just becomes an out-and-out tank using defense tree and support tree, and forget the offense tree completely. Okay, let's start with Vice Golem then. So we're going to be running her in this sort of comp here. So we've got additional support champion. We've got some stunnage and damage. We've got drop defense. We've got some speed. And let's see how we get on. Really, what's she doing in here? She's going to be a bit of our damage in this comp. So I don't have a huge kind of damage team. She's done there, what, 20 to 30k? Maybe a bit more, actually. Hop there with her, like, 35k. She's doing a regen gear so that, if she does start taking hits, she's going to just top that health up. As it is, with Scyl in the team as well. I mean, with Scyl in the team as well, who takes a hit, right? Such a good champ. On to the second wave then. This sometimes is quite a frustrating wave. So there we get the decreased speed out as the first ability. Decent damage again. Provoke comes in from Vogoth. He's actually a bit OP as well. Another AoE damage, 38k, 40k. Provokes out as well. So quite honestly, it's yeah, I feel like she's viable now. She's definitely viable now. Just in the damage we're seeing, just in the control, 2 AoE hits, defensive based champion, tank unit for your team. She's coming out of the vault for sure. She's coming out of the vault for sure. Is she now like the best champion in the game? No, she's not. Is she a top tier Void champion. No, she's not. But she's now a bit like Scyl, a great dungeon champion, I think. Provokes off there. Doesn't really do anything to these ads, but the stun's going to sort them out. Decreased speed's actually pretty big for most bosses. Other than the dragon boss, decreased speed's actually really nice. Just gives you that extra bit of time to get your attacks off. And again, we're doing reasonable levels of damage here, like 40k a hit. Similar to Scyl level damage. Like, that's what we want. We love Scyl of the Drakes. What a great legendary champion for everyone to get for free. It feels like VISIX is stepping up. She's getting closer to that level. She's not the same level, but she's getting more on a par with Scyl, who we love. So I'm not going to show all this all the way through. It's a bit dull, but you can see that she's holding her own. I think what I might just try, for the fun of it, is just see, just between the two of them, how do they deal with waves? Decreased speed, stunnage on most. Provokes and damage. Like, this is why. This is exactly what we want from free champions, okay? Exactly what we want from logged-in champions. Help people get through the game. It's gross. So she takes a hit. She's in regen gear for me. You can put her whatever gear you want, but I think the regen's going to work quite nice, unless you're running a healing type of comp. But just gross. Working our way through the waves. These two together, having a party. It's like that. Finally, she's like that. I wanted a friend. Syl's like, finally, one of you guys is worth talking to. So yeah, this is actually pretty good. Decent damage. Decent control. Kind of cool animations as well. I don't know if the animations are different because I never really only used it for 5 minutes before I was like, no, she's absolute trash. Bit of turn meter gain as well. Pop, pop, pop. How you feeling? I know what you're feeling like. Controlled. It's like a bad marriage, this one. Beautiful. Okay, so those two to run through waves together anywhere will be disgusting. You know, even if we're doing, I'm not very far through Doom Tower, so we've only just started it, but and I'm actually on normal side because I wanted to do my missions and stuff, but it'll be the same type of story if we were running through any form of Doom Tower. And obviously you'd build in around them people like a decreased defense champion, and I mean, we're just smacking through the normal stuff anyway. But yeah, any type of Doom Tower wave content, these two together are just going to sort out the control for you. So, I mean, it's just a bit disgusting, really. So yeah, let's check out Spider then. So I think Spider, let's go big boy Spider, 25. So I think, you know, we'll go with the 2 freebies again. Mordecai, who a lot of people just had. You could put Drexar here, I think. I think Drexar still works. The only thing is, if you're running Drexar with VISIX, they're both... Drexar's way is going to do damage as if he provokes, and VISIX is going to kind of over-the-top provoke. So I think you need to watch your turn meter, your speeds, really, to make sure that works okay. We still want speed. We still want drop turn meter. We've got drop turn meter from both of these two as well. We've got some stunnage. And this is, you know, Spider 25, so it's going to be challenging. The main way you kill a Spider at 20 or 21 plus is just burn the hell out of this Spider. So if you haven't got an HP burn, then Drex is still going to be your best bet. Get the provokes off and get him tanking up some burns. We got the weak source Cold Heart from my video I did yesterday. Literally got like 110% crit damage, and she's smacking like she's a goddess. So still really viable. No masteries or anything on that Cold Heart. Really viable still in endgame. So you can see, I mean, there's so much going on here in terms of debuffs and stuff. But basically, we've got people dropping turn meter. We've got the burns doing the work. Like chunks of damage. And obviously, we've got people like our Apothecary just keeping it moving. Yeah, I feel like Scyl, VISIX together, I mean, it's just like a match made in heaven. What a match. All of a sudden, 2 super viable champions. Scyl picks her back up. Like I said, she's going to tank a lot of damage because she's not just tanking from the provoke. She's also tanking from whenever she puts Ally Protect out. So she's kind of like double tankage, which does mean it helps to have a revive champ like a Scyl in the team anyway. Or, you know, maybe Lifesteal Deer is just straight up better than Regen Deer, to be honest. But this is looking solid. Back to full health on everyone. And bam, that's going to be a 2 minutes 40 run. Okay, let's try Finite 20. I've kind of got a team together here. I feel like it walks it, to be honest. Armor go for your turn meter control. Scyl and VISIX both doing turn meter control. Bit of a tanky, fast Apothecary and drop your defense here. You could definitely bring High Cocoon in instead of Apothecary here. I just don't have mine built at the moment. I feel like you could take Scyl out of the mix as well and just bring in either more support or you know, someone like a Vodoff could easily come in here. Or if you've got a Cold Heart, someone like a Cold Heart could come in here and make it much quicker. But in terms of just trying to keep it champions that most people have got, you know, something to do with, you could probably bring War Maiden in instead of this role as well. And you think about it, we've got Scyl does drop speed, Stag here's doing drop speed. I think, can Armor do drop speed? I don't even know, maybe not. But VISIX, Scyl, Stag, all doing drop speed. We've got stuns out all over the place, decreased speed on the AoE, and provokes. These guys, honestly, are not going to get much chance to get a turn if you've got VISIX and Scyl going together. A bit like what we saw in Ice Golem. And then as long as the rest of your team have got some sort of way of doing damage, then it's actually pretty good. I think for anyone who's looking to progress through the game, the combo of Scyl and VISIX together is going to be like ridiculous. And if we then try that same team on stage 25, what I'll do is I'll just let this one go because it's going to be long because there's no real speed around how we get through the waves here. There's also no real speed about how we beat the boss. But I think it just wins. I think it just wins. And I feel like VISIX alongside Scyl take on any wave content. So I'll let this play through. After that, we're going to show the arena and we're going to show Faction Wars as well. So I think moral of the story, if you're going to do stage 25 with a weaker team like this, bring plenty of War Master or Giant Slayer. But she does it. She does it, and she's easily the highest damage dealer. She's stealing turn meter. She's doing all sorts of stuff. She's decent. She's decent. She's not top tier or anything like that, but she's good now. So I think, yeah, works for Finite, works for Spider, as we've seen. Good in Ice Golem. People were asking me, is she now good in the arena as like a go second champion? I guess there's an argument to say she could do that job. She could come in I don't know if she's quick enough for me to even do it in this team, to be honest. Let's have a quick look. Probably not. Not in the build that I've done. So let's pretend that her when she goes third here, don't bear in mind I'm in plat. When she's going third, let's pretend that that's her going second. Or when she's going fourth even. So imagine this is her going second now because she's speed tuned straight after my Arbiter or after my Sifi or whatever. What you would do is you would come in. I think you'd have to manually do the A3 because I think on auto she's going to A2. Let's check it out either way. But if she does her A3 as the auto, then that is a viable go second champion. Okay, so she's going to provoke everybody for a turn, and it means your damage dealers get a load more time. Let's see what she does, though. She does the decreased speed, yeah, which is not really the arena move that you wanted to do, because it doesn't stop everyone doing their main abilities. So you see she did the decreased speed there. If we were to have her go second and she actually did the right ability, as you'd want her to do, speed this up a sec. Back to that skill. Okay, so she A3s. So if she actually did her A3 here and provoked everyone, so we actually got a bunch of resists anyway. But anyway, let's assume we're in like silver or something, and she provokes everyone. It leaves your damage dealer then plenty of time to do their nuke. So can she do that job? Yes. She will not be great on a defensive team because she does the wrong ability first. Simple as that. If you're like lower level stills, let's say you're still in mid silvers or something, and you've got Scyl and you've got VISIX, but you don't have that many kind of top tier champions, then you know what? She could go after your speed champ, provoke, Scyl goes next, lays stuns, and then your nuker goes over the top of that. I think she could do it, but Arena's not really going to be her place, certainly not beyond the kind of mid game. So last place, just to show off then, I guess, is Faction Wars. It is Dark Elf Day, so that's cool. I'm on stage 21 here, so we might as well show off a 21 team. Perhaps we'll just take out one of these nukers, or maybe we'll take out her. So turn meter now coming in. Don't know who I got built here. So let's go like this. Perhaps like this. I'm trying to take out a bunch of these legendaries, basically. So she can come in and give you a massive old defensive aura for faction crypts. She's going to do turn meter control here, as well as the rest of the champs. I guess I'll just bring in one of these. Okay. So let's see what she can do. Let's see what she's doing here. So I actually feel like the hardest thing about Faction Wars for this faction has been getting enough team protection. So her coming in with provokes, decreased speed, AoE hits. I feel like she's actually good for this faction now. Actually good. This is a hard wave, as we know. Dropping turn meter, dropping speed, laying down some nukage. Then she's going to get the provokes off, I think. Yeah, provokes off, so they're not going to do their counter attack on us wave 2, which is always a nightmare. So in terms of the harder part of this dungeon, which is getting past wave 2, all of these Valks are an absolute nightmare. She's tanking up a ton of damage. All she's got in terms of healing in the way I've built this is her regen set. That's all she's got going on. Not changed anything. Obviously my KO and everyone's getting the damage off. She does a good amount of damage as well. She's almost full health. And then we're on to the boss. And this boss, let's just take it off auto for a second. So this boss plays out the True Fears and the poisons, plays out HP burns, and then basically just hits. It's probably one of the easier bosses, okay? It's not easy. Don't misquote me, but it's one of the easier ones. So putting a decreased speed out there is great. Any turn meter control on him is great. Provoking the ads stops them from doing nasty things as well. And yeah, I think genuinely, she's now good for this boss. Like, I think this is somewhere where she was already half decent for anyway, because we did lack turn meter control apart from Cold Hearts in this team. So I think she was always been kind of half decent here anyway. But yeah, I think everything she's bringing here certainly for the wave killing, getting to the boss, she's now top draw. But even on the boss, I think she's pretty damn good. So you have it, guys. I guess, like, what's my verdict? Did we manage to get VISIX out of the vault? That's the question. That's what people want to know. From everything I'm seeing, I think she's well and truly out of the vault. We might end up losing this anyway. I don't know. I don't think I've got enough healing for everyone else, but come on, boys. Don't let me down. Don't let me down. Don't hit Cold Heart. But yeah, I honestly think they've done a good job of it. She's not OP, and she's not quite Scyl level, but I don't think she's that far behind Scyl's level. And Scyl's always the good kind of benchmark for me as to, you know, have we got ourselves a champion here that people want to use? Scyl, one of the most played champions in the game. I think VISIX now is going to be one of the most played champions in the game. Capable of carrying your team right the way through a whole bunch of content. And bam, there we go. Stage 21, done and dusted. Yeah, so you go, guys. That is VISIX the Unbowed. VISIX the Out of the Vault. I've been Hell Hades. I'll see you later.